Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited you're hanging out with us because today we're talking about a superpower. Now, when I say superpower, your brain probably goes straight to, flying or super strength or maybe turning invisible, right? But what if I told you that you already have a hidden superpower that is just as amazing, and it's actually right inside your own head? Seriously, it is the ability to train your own thoughts. It might sound a bit simpler than shooting lasers out of your eyes, sure, but as we're going to see, mastering this power literally changes absolutely everything about how you live your life.
So I want you to stop and really think about this for a second. Who is the actual boss of your brain? Is it your parents, your teachers, maybe YouTube or whatever video game happens to be right in front of you? We kind of act like our thoughts just happen to us, almost like the weather, right? Like it rains and we just deal with it. But today, we're diving into some incredible wisdom that reveals a thrilling secret. You are completely in charge of your own mind. You are the boss.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, Boss of Your Brain. Let's jump straight into our first big takeaway from the text about taking control of that awesome brain of yours. It gives us this amazing quote, "No one but yourself can control your thoughts." Let that sink in for a second. Nobody else. If you want to reach the absolute highest standard in life, if you want to be truly successful and do amazing things, well, it depends entirely on how you discipline your thoughts. If you don't grab the steering wheel, your brain is just going to drive you all over the place. But the second you realize that you are the only one who can control what you think about, you unlock the ability to choose your exact path. Now, the text uses a really interesting kind of ancient phrase from the Bible, specifically 1 Peter 1:13. It says we need to gird up the loins of your mind. I know that sounds super funny to us today, right? Girding up your loins? What does that even mean? Well, back in ancient times, people wore these really long robes. If they needed to run fast or get to hard work, they actually had to tuck those robes up into their belts so they wouldn't trip over them. It's exactly like tying your shoelaces super tight before a big race. So girding up your mind simply means getting your brain dressed, tucked in, and completely ready for action. It means making solid, well-formed plans so your brain is working in the right direction. When your mind is girded, you aren't just following random vague ideas or wasting time. You are totally focused, ready to step forward, and absolutely no effort is lost.
Which brings us to Section 2, the compass to the pole.
Okay, so if your brain is all ready for action, where exactly is it going? We really need to figure out the aim and object of your life. The text tells us that every single day, your thoughts should be trained to point to worthy purposes as the compass to the pole. Now, have you ever held a real compass? No matter how much you spin around or shake it or run through the woods, that little magnetic needle always swings right back to point exactly north. And this brilliantly illustrates what the text is telling us. Your mind needs to be exactly like that little needle. You need to have worthy aims and purposes, and no matter what crazy distractions pop up during your day, your thoughts should always snap right back and point directly towards your goals. Let's actually compare two totally different ways of doing things, straight from our source. On one side, we've got random plans. The text gives a big warning against moving without thoughtful consideration. People who do this make what the author calls fitful efforts. Basically, that means starting and stopping, bouncing all around without actually finishing a single thing. They strike out over here, they catch at something over there, they try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but honestly, it all amounts to absolutely nothing. On the completely other side, we have a fixed purpose. This is when you make every single thought and action work together to accomplish exactly what you set out to do. There's a fixedness of purpose to carry out what you undertake. So which one sounds like the real boss of their brain? Definitely the one with a fixed purpose, for sure.
Moving right along to Section 3, beware the untrained vine. But what actually happens if we let our minds just wander around and do whatever they want? Well, the author gives us this super vivid picture from nature. Just imagine a vine growing out in a garden. The text says that if a vine is completely untrained and its little tendrils are just left to struggle out in every single direction, it's going to fasten onto any rubbish within its reach. It'll just grab onto old sticks, pieces of trash, or dead weeds. And you know what? That is exactly what an untrained brain does. If you don't focus your thoughts, your brain is just going to grab onto useless rubbish. Silly distractions, bad moods, or habits that just waste your time. But if you break those tendrils away from that rubbish and actually train the vine, it wraps around a strong support, it becomes graceful, well-formed, and incredibly useful. You really have to train your brain away from the rubbish so it can grow strong. And that takes us to our final section, Section 4, Good Thoughts, Great Actions. So, how exactly do we break away from all that rubbish? Let's look at how this builds into an exact chain reaction described in the text. It all starts at step 1, right thoughts. If your thoughts are well-girded and disciplined, they're going to focus on subjects that actually help you grow.
And if your thoughts are right, the text says that as a direct result, you hit step 2, right words. You automatically start speaking kinder, smarter, and just more helpful things. And then that naturally leads right into step 3, right actions. See, you can't have the right actions without first having the right thoughts. It's this perfect, amazing chain reaction.
And just look at the beautiful payoff of those right actions. When we discipline our thoughts and follow that exact chain reaction, our actions take on a very special character. The text promises that they will bring gladness, they will bring comfort, and they will bring rest souls. Just imagine that. Literally, just by taking control of what you think about, you end up making the whole world around you a happier, way more peaceful place for other people. And the text notes that making this decided change in our thoughts and actions is exactly how we please Jesus. You get to become a hero to others simply by being the boss of your own brain. So I want to leave you with one final, absolutely crucial question to ask yourself today. What direction is your compass pointing right now? Are your thoughts just spinning around, grabbing at rubbish like an untrained vine? Or are you girding up your mind, putting on that brain armor, and pointing your thoughts directly toward your most worthy goals? Always remember, no one but yourself can control your thoughts. You have the ultimate superpower. So go out there, train those thoughts, and act with real purpose.